Good evening, folks. Happy Saturday. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today is February 3rd, 2023. Tonight, Saturday Night Live. Join me. Good evening, folks. I'm Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Saturday Night Live. Let's go over this past week's event, news, and politics. You can join me live in the comment section or call in. You don't have to leave your name. All calls will be screened. 914-228-2894. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. It is freezing outside. Currently, it's 20 degrees. 20 degrees. It's freezing. It's cold, but it's going to be warming up a little bit next week. Hopefully, we'll be in the 40s and 50s. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. It's Saturday, February 23rd. No, February 3rd, 2023, right? And today's Saturday Night Live. I want to go over a few things that's happened here in the city of Yonkers this past week, but I want to encourage people to call, right? I would love to hear from you. And I'm going to screen the call, so anyone that's looking to call and be silly, I won't let you through. But if you have something to say, give me a call. Numbers on the bottom there scrolling, throughout the podcast. I want to know specifically, how do you feel about the changes happening here in the city of Yonkers? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Or do you just not care? Doesn't matter to you, right? They don't care. Anyway, folks, again, as I mentioned, Corazon Pineda Isaac, the councilwoman out of the 2nd District, has announced she is running. Front page here on the Yonkers Times, Dan Murphy's Yonkers Times. City council members Pineda Isaac and Moranti announced runs for Yonkers mayor. 4 candidates now in the race to challenge Spano. 4 candidates. And I read some of it, and I thought it was kind of messed up what he said in regards to Prince. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me, right? He says here, City Council woman Corazon Pineda Isaac, Margaret Fountain Coleman, Prince Robinson, Anthony Moranti being the only Democrat, and obviously Mike Spano, the incumbent, is now running again. 2 members of the Yonkers City Council, Republican Anthony Moranti and Democrat Corazon Pineda Isaac, announced their campaigns for mayor over the past week. The 2 joined Margaret Coleman, an educator and community leader, and Prince Robinson, a comedian, as announced candidates for mayor. All 4 will challenge Mayor Mike Spano, who has announced that he is running for a 4th term. Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac's decisions to run for mayor came as a surprise to some. I don't know who. Pineda Isaac has been considering a run for mayor for almost a year, probably longer. On February 1st, she emailed her supporters writing, "I want you to be the first to know that I have made the huge decision. I am running for mayor of Yonkers, and hope you vote for me." But here's the thing. Corazon and and Margaret Coleman, 2 women of color, Democrats. Are they just going to, is that just, they're going to split the vote there? I mean, I hear that Corazon was actually offered a deputy mayor position if she supported the mayor or didn't run for mayor. And maybe she's just running to split the vote. I don't know. Maybe she truly wants to run for mayor. But I mean, the track record Corazon Pineda has isn't exactly the greatest, and I don't see what changes she will bring. Many people consider her, a real Spano loyalist, actually, and someone who, oftentimes shows signs of, of independence, but oftentimes has supported the mayor, right? And there's other personal connections that people have mentioned between Corazon Isaac and the Spano family, and so. Is that really change? Is she really there to truly win? And is she going to even do a great job if she is elected mayor? And this is, again, no disrespect, nothing personal. And I just always have to, preface it that, when I speak, because I don't want people thinking I'm just attacking a woman of color, right? No, I'm just assessing her, tenure as a council person, right? What has she truly done to make an impact that we can say, wow, Corazon Pineda Isaac is the one? Unless you're simply looking to vote for a Latina woman, in which case she's perfect, right? She's perfect for the job there. The numbers on the bottom there, 914-228-2894. Right. All these council members, we created this mess. Are running for mayor. How ironic! All the council members that created this mess are running for mayor, right? All of them. All of them have pretty much been involved in creating this mess, right? Many times they voted with the mayor 7-0. I mean, he probably has the best, voting record, right? Or record when it comes to the council members voting for things that he's wanted. 7-0, 7-0. I mean, majority of stuff, that comes across the council members, meetings and legislations that they're going to be passing or introducing, then voting on, don't come from them, right? It comes from the Spano administration. I mean, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy didn't wake up one day and say, I think it's a great idea and it would benefit the people of the city of Yonkers and Yonkers as a whole if I introduce legislation to extend term limits again, even though it was done 4 years ago, right? And that's all she's done thus far as city council president. Or I don't think it was Mike Breen's idea to say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's a good idea that I introduce legislation to lower the requirements for the commissioner position of the building department. I mean, we're having trouble finding a manager. And unless we reduce the requirements, we're not going to find anyone that's qualified, right? Where have you ever heard that before? Right? It's unbelievable. If they stood up to the mayor, things would be different, right? They don't. And that's the problem. They do stand up when they want to make it appear as if they're being independent, right? Like I said, it's kind of like a free throw, right? They don't get any blocks. They just go to the line, they shoot, they score a point or two for their team. The fans are excited. But at the end of the day, they didn't do much else, right? They didn't do anything else. Those were the only 2 points they scored. And they were blocked every other time, if they even attempted to make any shots, because they don't, right? They don't. So, they definitely have not done a whole lot. I mean, and if you want to, especially with council members, just look at their districts, right? All right, you're running for mayor now. You've been a council member of district so-and-so, whatever district, and in this case, Corazon District 2. Now, what improvements have she made there? Have we seen significant changes in that district, that we can say, wow, imagine if she were to apply that to the entire city. That would be amazing. But I mean, I don't, it's, I would probably say that if I had to take a guess, it is the, highest crime district, a lot was wrong with that district. That's where a police officer was shot. That's where 4 individuals were standing on a corner and were shot, right, in a drive-by. That's where a 6-year-old was shot by a stray bullet. That's where a business owner there told me that, his family members who've come to visit have been robbed going from their car to his apartment. And they don't want to visit anymore. It's not safe, and they don't see their council representatives. So I don't know. Is that what we want for the entire city? And so that's what we have to think about, right? And so, again, it's not personal. It's politics. There are so many accusations of Corazon not living here. I hear that a lot, right? And I actually even checked out an address that had, she was listed as living as over there on Hawthorne. And I highly doubt that she's living there. And if she is, that building may need to be condemned. I mean, there was, parts of it falling apart. So I can't imagine that a council member lives there, right? With a, building in that condition. It's actually a multifamily, home. I can't imagine that. So I don't know. Many people say she lives across the bridge. I don't know which bridge, but there's addresses listed in Brooklyn that connect to her, and other areas. Maybe she lives with mom, in the Northeast side. I don't know. I don't know. And it's not like we really will know unless we stalking them, which I don't. but I have to verify addresses. I do go once, maybe twice, and don't see a car there. Don't, see any sign of a councilwoman living there. Then I'm assuming that maybe she don't live there, right? She just did that. So I don't know. And they drive their cars, right? I mean, they're all in their cars. And Shanae Williams, I can spot her everywhere in her car, or knowing that I know that it's her because she has the Jamaican flag hanging from the rearview mirror, right? So she's just personalized the city car, right? And they drive it at night. And did she get a new one? Because she had a black one not that long ago. I saw her up on Elm Street driving it. It was in the evening. She had a black Ford, and then now she had a white Toyota RAV4. Right? Mike, don't answer emails. Mike, don't answer email. Breen. Yeah, Mike is very, unresponsive. People have complained about that, and if you look at his demeanor, he seems very just too laid back, right? Just too, when you just finish eating, you just like, I got the itis. I just want to let it digest, don't speak to me. And that's what he looks like when he's at the city council meetings. But he's doing very well for himself, being a true Spano loyalist. His daughter has gotten a promotion over at the YPD. Patty is doing some real estate deals, some big deals, and he's probably looking at some gig, within the city after he's all said and done with politics. And he doesn't even have to work hard, right? Imagine that. Doesn't even have to apply, doesn't have to go to an interview, nothing. Just do as you're told. I can do that. Very easy. It's very simple, right? And so that's how many individuals here in the city of Yonkers have it, while so many struggle, right? So many struggle. As one of the youngest women ever elected to the city council, she goes on to say, I made it my purpose to be a leader to other young women of color who haven't seen themselves represented. I love how they all say that, right? I'm a person of color. I'm Hispanic, right? I grew up around other people of color. My wife is a person of color. Right? Everybody's a person of color, right? You have some kind of color, right? My kids, right? I don't how have you set an example truly? How? Because what ultimately you guys have done is sold yourselves out in order to enrich yourselves, and you haven't done anything for the people you say you represent, whether it's your entire constituency or your people in terms of, Hispanics or Dominicans specifically. But I don't think you represent just Dominicans or Hispanics. I think you primarily represent the Spano administration. But folks, you have to understand, they have to do that, right? It's like, even if they didn't want to, they have to. Otherwise, they're gone. So if they lasted that long and then they've got a position like Mike Sabatino, right, who became director of constituent services, which was, and shout out to Hezi for this, put in the Yonkers Tribune before it actually happened, right? And he got that job because he voted for the third term extension as the majority leader, and his husband, Robert Voorhees, challenged Tasha Diaz's signatures. So he's got the $120,000 gig. Doing what exactly, right? Doing what exactly? But that's how it goes. That's just how it is here in the city of Yonkers. And Mike Breen also actually voted to extend the third term for the third term extension as the minority leader, which he has been for quite some time. But what do they really actually do, and how do they represent the people of color? I love when they say that, though, and that just bothers me because they're not really doing nothing. That's the point. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm speaking about it, because you're not. You're not. You're selling people out, and he's like, oh, well, you sink or swim. If you can't get it, oh, well, too bad for you. You're a loser, poor loser, broke loser, right? And I'm not even specifically saying that about Corazon. I don't know if she necessarily has that attitude all the way like Tasha for some odd reason, and that's probably a lot of insecurities, right? You have to, do these assessments on them. If she is running to steal votes from Coleman, then it appears that Coleman is going to make it easier for her to do. It's been a month since Coleman announced. So where the hell is she? If she has been on the campaign trail, I guess I missed it. Well, I don't know if there's a campaign trail just yet. I don't know if anyone, any one of the candidates who have announced are on a campaign trail just yet. From what I've been told, it's too early to start really, announcing. And as you may have heard, if you watched the legislator Christopher Johnson interview, he said that, now I just wanted to talk about, what he has done, but eventually he's going to get to really campaigning and, kind of, going against his opponent, which is Shanae Williams, councilwoman for District 1. So Margaret Coleman, I last saw her at the districting meeting over at the Will Library, and I reminded her that I would love to have her on the show, and she said yes, definitely. We're going to be reaching back out to to you, and I know don't worry, I didn't forget you. It's just I'm not going on shows or anything right now. I guess it's all they have some kind of plan, strategy, and time frame of how they're going to do things, and it seems to be kind of the same with everyone else in terms of why they're not out more. Like even with Shatika Parker, someone has said, well, her website doesn't have much. It's just, you go there and it's just, subscribe to information, right? You give your information and you see if you get something back, right? And so they're saying it's not that time yet. It's still too early, which I don't know. I don't know if it's too early. I think you should get rocking and rolling. Just my opinion. Margaret Fountain Coleman announced on January 15th. She did so over there by City Hall, in front of the War Memorial, the Vietnam, is it? Veteran, on January 15th, that she is a candidate for mayor outside City Hall. I am both proud and excited to announce my candidacy for mayor of the city of Yonkers. Democracy is in jeopardy, and we will continue to see a mass exodus of the city of Yonkers. Democracy is in jeopardy. I've read that already. Did it right twice? I'm sorry. Mass Yonkers residents because of fiscal irresponsibility and lack of affordable housing and employment opportunities. Voters in Yonkers have so few options. It's time for election of a new voice that will appropriately address these issues that plague our city. It's time to make Yonkers one community. And, absolutely, one of the things that I've mentioned here in the podcast is the lack of jobs, right? They promised us a lot of jobs when these developments will come in, and I've seen this now. It's the old bait and switch, routine, right? And I've seen this pattern now with the city of Yonkers, and I'm like, how is it that the people still fall for it, right? They sell you on one thing, and then they kind of switch that out and putting a new plan. But at that point, they're so far along, the people kind of forgotten and gotten into their own lives that, it's like, okay, at this point, we can't do anything about it. It just happens. Now it is what it is. And so they're just continuing to do that with everything. Oh, we're going to get you jobs. Just wait when the developments go up. But they're not going to local labor. They're not. And the union leaders are not fighting hard enough from individuals that have spoken with Basement Politics, because I've asked, what are the union leaders doing? Are they not pissed off like, Teamsters 456 at the fact that they're not getting, a lot of the work on these developments? The contractors coming from Connecticut, Rochester, New Jersey, right? And they say, well, they've, been bought off, or they're being quiet because of, other favors that they get. And so they're not really fighting hard. So, this administration and others that have an interest, a vested interest and a financial interest in seeing these developments go up and go up quick, have learned to, pretty much keep everybody at bay some way, somehow, right? Whether it's union heads, department commissioner leaders, community activists, right? Community activists and organizations in the communities that, they get funding, if they get highlighted, if they get attention, they're going to forget about the fact that there's elected officials. True, they're not doing anything. And, and I guess they sell it to, or they justify it to themselves. Well, I'm doing something they're giving me and I'm helping, And so, and no disrespect or nothing to anyone. And I appreciate the opportunity or even being, offered in some kind of, an award. And, it's just, I don't know why I would receive an award, so that's just my thing. It's not that I'm not, appreciative, but I don't, I would like to know, why would I be receiving an award? What have I done? And I know I'm out there doing my little bit or whatever, and I'm Basement Politics, but, why? I'm not looking for any awards or nothing like that. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? I really just want to see change, and I want to really see people helped when they need things, when they need in situations. They have someone to call, because these elected officials do not help, right? And I know, and I've been, I've experienced that. Several fellow educators in the Yonkers Public Schools supported Coleman. Again, she's an educator. Her husband is Frank Coleman. He is the president of the Yonkers NAATP, also an educator as well. So that, they have that experience in their belt. Margaret found Coleman is an innovative and efficient leader that represents what Yonkers needs for its students and this community, said Brian Boyd, Yonkers teacher. Coleman, a comedian. Is Prince a comedian? I didn't know he was a comedian. And I don't know, is Dan Murphy, being funny here? I never saw him as a comedian or give himself the title of comedian, right? But maybe it's something I don't know. But he calls him a comedian. Prince Coleman said, Prince Coleman. His name is Prince Robinson, actually. It says Prince Coleman there. I'm not sure what's going on. Said that he is the political outsider in the race for mayor, to say the least. I want to make a change and I have a vision. Some people are afraid to embrace change, but some people want change. I'm in it to win it. He's in it to win it. I'm going to be more hands-on mayor. I'm going to be a more hands-on mayor. I want to be on the streets, making sure my city is working and identify where the problems are. Let's attack the drug problem and the homeless crisis. I want to bring a New Year's Eve celebration to Yonkers. Definitely important. I am not a politician, and I think our elected officials should come from different walks of life. If you give me a chance, I can be an asset to Yonkers. Moranti made his, Prince, all due respect, I don't know. I mean, I just, what political experience? I mean, and look, you don't have to have political experience, but what other, experience that, qualifies you for this position, right? What will you bring to, what will you offer as mayor? What will you offer those who vote for you, the city of Yonkers, right? So we have to think about this, folks. This is real serious business. It's serious business. Moranti made his announcement last week to a crowd at Mount Olympus Diner. Moranti told the crowd, I have not forgotten you. Well, if you have to tell them that, then maybe you have, right? Are you reminding them because they feel forgotten? Moranti stated as mayor, he will be committed to focusing on quality of life issues, which sadly have been lacking in Yonkers. Critical issues such as neighborhood safety, housing that is affordable, but you voted no on the affordable housing ordinance and you have not presented a solution. You just simply said, no, I don't want it. That's it, right? That is safety, affordable for our seniors, or I guess maybe just seniors, right? Workforce and others on modest incomes, limiting city spending, going after Albany politicians to get our rightful share of funding for our city and for our public schools, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, such as our sewers, which are constantly flooding, and water pipes that are consistently breaking. So you see, this is a problem, right? In terms of the fire hydrants, which I've mentioned this week also, which I was criticized for on other sites, saying that I was, putting out false information. But no, this infrastructure, the sewers, the water pipes and all that, they break, they're old. And that causes problems when you have a fire hydrant, and then you have a pipe burst, and now you lose pressure from that fire hydrant, right? And you have these developers using fire hydrants and adding more strain to the system, right? Repairing deteriorating roads that wreak havoc on our vehicles, and green lighting only smart development that lifts our neighborhoods. I mean, you're District 6, you got that. And I don't know if that was in your district to begin with, but that storage unit that's going up on Central Avenue. And a lot of people I hear on Central Park Avenue, Northeast over there, are a bit upset about the Chick-fil-A that's going to be coming there. Not because they have an issue with Chick-fil-A specifically, but the amount of traffic and, what it's going to do in terms of congestion. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chick-fil-A. And me and having been, in the South and Midwest a lot, I've always eaten at Chick-fil-A. And those lines are longest lines you will ever see at any fast food or drive-through ever, anywhere, ever, right? And they close on Sundays. So at least the folks say, at least Sundays you'll have a break. But I hear people in that area, it's going to be in Roxbury and Central Park Avenue. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Across the street, you have the Crestwood Lake Apartments. So I believe that's in Moranti's area now. And, people are a little bit upset about that. They're just upset overall with the increased traffic on Central Avenue. And it has gotten a lot worse. And I know that they're from the city because they all drive, like 25 miles an hour, even though it's 40 miles an hour, right? And so you're like, these are the city people, because in the city is all 25. So some people are upset over there. They're concerned with what exactly is going to be happening. And Moranti, you talk about, the potholes. You drive up and down Central Avenue. I see you a lot on Central Avenue. The office is over there by Central Avenue. I think your headquarters or whatever. And you haven't stopped to speak on the potholes that are all over Central Avenue. like I have when I got my flat. And guess what? When I did that, they went out there to patch them up. They patched up a bunch of potholes that same day. Moranti is just that simple. It's that simple, right? You get out your car, and I know you don't drive a city vehicle as your car, so I'll give you that point. You get out your car, right? And you show the potholes. And you tell the people, this is nonsense. This is crazy. What's going on here? I've been fighting hard to get these potholes patched up and filled up or whatever. And the mayor's not moving. But you don't do that. You wait for your constituents to complain. And maybe if that's someone that you respect or move on things for, you will. If not, you may respond with a generic, well, that's the state's road. That's the county. You have to call them, right? But I didn't do that. I was infuriated. I was infuriated, and I showed the pothole. I showed my tire flat. And I said, this is nonsense. Why would us, the people of Yonkers, why do we have to go through this? I don't care who owns that road or is responsible for that road. Ultimately, your constituents, Moranti, your constituents, Mike Breen, your constituents, Tasha Diaz, your constituents, Shanae, your constituents, John Rubo and Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy are the ones that are being negatively impacted. So it's your jobs to stop this. Stop it. My air suspension system went on me. I don't know how much it's going to be to fix. Right? So I'm pissed off because of that too. My tire, my air suspension system now is because of the potholes. Right? Moranti's cannot flourish. Moranti added, Yonkers cannot flourish without a strong core infrastructure. 1,000%. Right? Actually, exactly. Get rocking and rolling now. June is around the corner, and the Spano machine is not going to be easy to beat. Not at all. And they come at you every which way, folks, whether it's positive type of, campaigning or negative. They don't do it themselves. They send out the, political operatives, but they're going to be doing that as well. Other candidates need to get in their faces and voices known, and in so doing, they'll force Spano to show his own fraudulent face more frequently and possibly even answer a tough question or two. And I believe that, not violence, right? I don't, because they try to pin that on me. Not violence, not aggressive in a negative way, right? A physical way, but or verbally, aggressive, abusive, but being aggressive and not stopping, and demanding change, and voicing your, your disgust for the political corruption that they try to deny, right? You see some people, oh, what are they talking about? The political corruption that exists here in the city of Yonkers. That's very obvious. It's very obvious. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. All these politicians are full of, yeah. I believe that I agree with you 100%. Well, absolutely. And it's time that we, vote these individuals out. I mean, to me, it's a slap in the face when they lie to us, right? When they try to BS us like we're some idiots. I don't like being treated like that. I don't like my intelligence being insulted, right? They just think that they're going to just appease us with little, tell us whatever and just say, okay, yeah. Meanwhile, they're going, behind our backs and, doing things that are against our own interest. Just doesn't make sense. Have you guys, driven up and down Ashburton? That road is crazy. And Joe Carter's putting up movie studios there, right? And now you have, let's get into developments, right? Have you guys seen this big, huge tower that's going to be coming to, it's already started. They started building it. This is the one next to the YMCA behind the ShopRite and the CVS over there. This is 44 Hudson Street in Yonkers. The Maroza Tower. This thing initially almost didn't happen. This was filled with scandal right here. Initially, the Zoning Board of Appeals did not approve the zoning changes that were going to be required to happen in order for this to go up. The proposed plan initially called for 27 stories. 27 stories. They're not supposed to go that high. This was a promise that they would never go this high. And that is one reason, just one reason among others, that certain individuals within the zoning board at the time did not vote for this. But the developer already purchased the property. I mean, what do you mean? He's invested millions of dollars in this property and he intends on building something that cannot be built there because of zoning laws. Was he hoping that they would change? Did he know that someone was going to go in and champion for him and, get him changed? I don't know. But this seems to happen a lot. They buy the property first, then the zoning changes happen. So what did they do when the zoning changes did not happen initially? According to my sources, very reliable sources, very, very reliable sources, told me that one, Wilson Kimball, CEO of Municipal Housing Authority of Yonkers, and the current chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals had them removed, had the individuals who voted no initially removed in such a disrespectful manner. These individuals gave 30 plus years of their time. They volunteered for this and they had them removed because they would not vote yes on this project. They said it just wasn't good for the area and for the people. And so Wilson Kimball had them removed. She's very powerful. She's connected to Nick Spano. Her husband is James Kavanaugh, partner and lobbyist at Empire Strategic Planning, also president of the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. They have a history from the Battery Park City Authority organization there. They were investigated by the New York State Inspector General at one point, just before coming to Yonkers. And so she got rid of them and she, made her way up into the position of the chairperson, where she sits now, where she is just approving everything. And they put other individuals in there that have no knowledge. They're just there to approve everything. And so again, they did it in such a disrespectful way where they simply just voted for new individuals, had new individuals appointed to the zoning board. And so these individuals are like, wait a minute, why are they appointing new people to the zoning board? I mean, who are they replacing? Oh shit, they're replacing me. No phone call, no nothing until 3 months later when they received a letter in the mail stating that their services would no longer be needed. Thank you for your 30 plus years of free time, but you wouldn't go along with our corruption. And Empire Strategic Planning must keep its contracts with the developers. And you are hindering that process, right? And so this is how it's going to look if you're standing on Hudson Street. You see this is the YMCA here. And, they line, they line people up here for the lunches and dinners, I believe. So, I mean, if you're living in a luxury, architectural masterpiece, as they want to, sell it as, right, brand it as, right, are they going to be the type of individuals that are not going to mind having homeless men and women, people struggling financially to be lined up here? Or they're going to eventually do away with this Young Men's Christian Academy or association or whatever it's called? Just doesn't seem like the two go together, right? But that's a perfect example of the wealth gap that we are seeing happening here in the city of Yonkers now. More and more, it's in our face. High net worth or high income earners with homeless people right next to each other. And that's what Yonkers is becoming. And just 100 yards down there, where the arrow, my cursor's pointing, that's going to be the Teutonia, the luxury building there by AMS that will have 906 luxury units. Only 45 will be affordable. So it's going to be a lot of the residentials going up there. And so you can understand why these developers did not want the affordable housing ordinance passed, why Tasha Diaz flip-flopped when she realized I'm going to be up for re-election at some point and I need that developer money. Nick had to remind her. What do you think about that, folks? I would love to know, what do you think about these developments, these changes, these tall buildings going up, which they talk about, climate, climate change or, climate responsibility or whatever. But these tall buildings will ultimately be blocking the sun from sidewalks, right? So people are going to get less sun as you're walking down the street. And I was reading that in an article. That was one of the cons, right? So, they're not really thinking about that at all. I would like to know what you guys think about that big building going up there. By the way, scan this and see what surprise you get. And so I want to show this really quick. I put this on Instagram. If you don't follow the IG page, follow it because the FBI is following it. I just found out today that the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, follows my Instagram page. That wasn't always the case.
Bound for eruption, political corruption. It's not about
That's
production.
Wilson Kimball.
It's all about destruction of the society.
There goes our little angel.
It's called political corruption. It's causing a disruption.
Dangerous.
Bound for eruption. To the greed and money.
Now, this is where I wanted to stop. What are these individuals being shown to you folks for? Anyone can take a guess? Who are the Eziziakos? Can anyone pronounce that? I can't, but the two of them, Denise and Cindy, both make a total of together, make $254,316 of taxpayer money. Denise makes $164,556. Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody? Anybody? The Larkins are doing pretty well themselves, $380,000. Just a little over $380,000 of taxpayer money. And I'm going to be working on a tree, a Yonkers family tree that will have a lot of this information. It's going to be, quite a few branches, but that's in the works. And now, can anybody tell me about the Gallego? Or Gallego, yeah, Christina and Michelle. Both together total $256,265 of taxpayer money. What's special about them? Well, maybe not them specifically, but what's the connection there? Think Mike Cater lawsuit. Think the Committee for a Better Yonkers, and think the Yonkers Board of Ethics that we all know no longer exist. Who was the secretary? Who filed to incorporate or to set up the Committee for a Better Yonkers, which is funded by developers and all those interested in financially benefiting off the real estate here in the city of Yonkers, whether it's city property or the property of individuals who have deceased and have no next of kin or any next of kin that is nearby or that is savvy enough to know that they're going to be screwed when they make an offer to them for their property. And I've been finding a lot of those properties being sold for under market value. But not everyone has that opportunity. No, that's only kept for a small few. And then they say, well, go get a job. Why don't you get some for yourself? If you can't make it, oh, well, these are the changes. Well, unfortunately, I guess not everyone is able to be involved in a cabal of corrupt individuals. They're not privy to these opportunities where they can buy a $500,000 property for $200,000. Or $400,000 property for $100,000. In the condition that it's in, it's worth that much, right? $500,000 in that condition, and they're getting it for $2. So imagine when they fix it. That's a lot that's happening here in the city of Yonkers. And that's also causing a lot of the residential homes to go up in price, making it more difficult for people who want to buy their first homes. Average person just to buy a home for themselves, or maybe a rental property, right, where they can live on the first floor, rent out the second property to supplement their income and pay their mortgage. But they can't, because now all these LLCs are snatching them up, willing to pay more, driving up prices, pricing people out. Oh, well, too bad. Right? And that's what's happening with all these, the real estate investors who are donating to the committee or have donated to the Committee for a Better Yonkers, these real estate attorneys. They're all in on it. People, in the city clerk's office that has all these records. So what they do is when the person dies, there's no next of kin. So let the house sit there. Let it get a tax lien. I mean, who's going to pay the tax? They're dead. Once it gets the tax lien, let it sit there. Now it has to be sold off in a tax sale because they didn't pay the tax lien on it or the taxes. But the person died. So then what? Oh, well, hey, they owe taxes. The person died. Oh, just sell it. $2,500. Here you go. Boom. House is worth $500,000. So many people, here in the city of Yonkers have lived here forever in these homes, and many are passing away. A lot of their next of kin, their children, may have moved out of the state. And so even if they do reach them, they don't know exactly, what the value is. And even if they really sought out a bunch of interested parties, no, they'll tell them, well, it's the only person that was interested. The house is in horrible condition. So take that offer. It's a lot of scams going on. Starting to put my finger on a lot of it, connecting it. Small group of individuals. And then they tell you, well, you can't, keep up. If you can't make the money, oh, well, too bad, right? Well, when you're cheating, it's easy. So they're tied to the Gallego. So, these are individuals that are just, going to benefit. They're part of the cabal. They're involved in, somehow, some way. And like I said, Roseanne Gallego filed for the Committee for a Better Yonkers. That's the committee that attacked Mike Cater. In fact, they took down their webpage. It's no longer up now, but the webpage is all about Cater in negative ways, and one ad for Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy supporting her. What was this committee really doing? What was it really about? And why did so many real estate investors and developers, attorneys, donate to them? I mean, big money, $4,000. Ginsburg, who are doing work in Ludlow. Smith Bus Jacob, a law firm. And many others. And many, many others. And now the board of ethics that's now defunct, Dennis Gallego was the secretary, and they voted or said it was okay for John Rubo to sit on the chair of the real estate committee, as he did so last week, to preside over, proposals and things that have to do with his landlord, AMS, who revised his lease in order to keep his business from going under, from what reliable sources have told me. They reworked the lease, gave him a cheaper rent. Isn't that not quid pro quo? But his boy is Liam. He's not going to investigate him. And his boy is Vinny. They're not going to investigate him. Vinny's not going to have his boy Liam investigate him. They're all Republicans. So it's never going to happen. And that's the problem with having friends and family being hired. When you have your boy as the inspector general, folks, how do we expect to get any real investigations launched? How do we expect any of this corruption to be investigated and to, come to an end when the people that are tasked with doing that job are friends and family? Every department. It's in every department. And we must root out that corruption. And we do that by voting out the individuals that are in there now And it starts at the top. It is our duty. Democrats, you have to come out. Can't be just 100 Democrats coming out in the primaries. We need every registered Democrat to come out and vote. It is your duty. Tasha Diaz. She's up for re-election. District 3 Councilwoman Majority Leader with, I would imagine that's her husband. Diaz 2023. Is this a baby shower? A sweet 16? I don't know what that is. They tear down the historic Teutonia Hall and name their concrete and glass monstrosity after this legendary building. That's Yonkers. Yeah, they don't care. Please talk about AMS and the fact that they want to only have 5% instead of 10% required by law. According to Quid Quo Pro Rubo, they want to donate to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which seems to be defunct. Yeah, it's not in the 2023 budget. There is a story here. Oh, yeah, 1,000%. Well, it's perfect because it ties to this woman here you see in the red, right? Lovely lady there in the red dress or blazer with El Chapo. That looks like El Chapo. Well, the Teutonia, the building that I was telling you about that AMS is building on Buena Vista Avenue is going to have 906 luxury apartments, right? Now, the affordable housing ordinance as it stands now is 10%. They wanted to change that back in 2021 to 20%. And Tasha Diaz, along with Mike Cater, along with, was it Corazon? Right? Shanae, Mike Cater, and Tasha Diaz in the beginning were all for it. Corazon was, I'm okay at 15%. John Rubo was no. Moranti was no. Mike Breen was no. Well, it came time to vote, and it passed. John Rubo changed his mind. He decided to go for it. He said, I want to. This shows that I do support affordable housing and that I do recognize that there is a need. Tasha Diaz voted yes. Obviously, she was always in support. Corazon, although she was saying maybe 15, did go along with it because that is what she should do. I mean, after all, her constituents in District 2, right, will benefit greatly from this. Definitely. And so she's a Democrat also, so she should have voted, for it, which she did. So everyone did. Everyone except Moranti and Breen. So it passed 5-2. However, our Democrat mayor went and vetoed the housing ordinance, the new housing ordinance that had just been passed by the Yonkers City Council. So it was 20%. Then the mayor vetoes it, right? Then he said, no, I don't want that. And so the city council now had an opportunity to overwrite the mayor's veto by voting to do so. And so everyone expected it to happen, right? All they had to do was vote exactly the same way they voted to get it passed before the mayor vetoed it. So boom, the night of the vote, we all at the city council chambers. And I had just started to do basement politics, so I was still and I was supporting Tasha. I would go to her food distribution drives before I knew that they were just all election voting scam, right? I would, always big her up and, showcase what she was doing. And then she just, boom, shocked everyone by voting no to override the mayor's veto. Why? You were for it, and now you weren't? That's the night she said, let's get it popping, where I got that soundbite initially, and she went at it with Shanae. She started yelling, similar to what she did in the term limit extension meeting. Same exact thing. Saying, I didn't have a seat at the table, and I didn't give input, this, that, and a third, and plus, what about this, and plus, what about that? Totally confusing people, totally mixing two different topics or two different things up, with affordable and low income, which are two different things, although they are, involving housing, but they serve two different populations. And so it just surprised everyone. And then she became majority leader. And then her daughter got a job at the parking authority, and now I hear is going into the police academy. And she just changed like Cinderella overnight, right? So many people believe that that was her reward for, not overriding the mayor's veto. And that would have sent a strong message. So people were upset. That would have sent a strong message to the mayor. It would have also sent a strong message to the constituents, the people that vote for the council, because as really it stands today, they're pointless. They're a waste of taxpayer money. They do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But they had an opportunity that day to say, no, the mayor is the mayor, but we still have some say here in the city of Yonkers, and our constituents voted for us to make the right decisions. And we know our constituents, and we're going to be strong, stand strong to the strong mayor, right? But Tasha didn't. She flip-flopped. And then I realized as time progressed, that was the plan from the beginning. She knew that the mayor was going to veto it. In fact, John Rubel did also. That's why he changed his vote to yes. He knew that the mayor would veto it, and then they would come back and not override his veto, so it wouldn't pass. But it would make the people happy, especially just before the elections. John Rubel was running for re-election. He was hanging out with Tasha Diaz over at Trevor Park. Hasn't been back since. Right? So it was all a scam. And so now the housing ordinance remains at 10%. Which benefits all of the developers, the AMSs, the Ginsbergs, right? They benefit. The Extels that are building the 5, 7, whatever buildings over there. So they also have contracts with Nick Spano, the mayor's brother, with his lobbying firm to assure that legislation like the housing ordinance that would increase the affordable housing requirement does not get passed. That's basically why they hired Nick Spano. AMS, Ginsberg, and he got it done through Tasha Diaz and Zahi Jeris from very, very reliable sources. I have to say that, right? So they failed the people because of the developers. And so now it remains at 10%. AMS is building a 906 unit luxury building. And out of 906 units, they are only setting aside 45 for people who qualify for affordable housing during an affordable housing crisis. 45. That's only 5%, or actually less than 5%, because it's 906. So it's actually less than 5%. They're not even doing the 10% that's required now. So what they say they're going to do is put the other 5% in a trust fund that's called the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which is supposed to be money that is stored in an account and then used to build affordable housing units somewhere else. So basically, it was created to say, hey, listen, you know what? Just give us the money. You don't have to put it in your building, guys, and then we'll just build it somewhere else on the other side of town, right? But lately, they really haven't been building much. They'll build one here, one there, maybe, 60, 70 units. They'll give you half of the parking spots. Not like the Teutonia that's going to have 900 parking spaces. No, the affordable housing building that's going up on Main Street that's taking forever, because all the affordable housing ones take forever, is only going to have 70 some units, and they're only going to have 24 parking spaces. So many people are going to have to still park outside because they don't care about the affordable housing people, right? So they had passed this housing ordinance or in 2021. Then the Teutonia and AMS would have to have had 90, right? No, I'm sorry, 180 units would have been set aside for affordable housing, for those who qualify for affordable housing. 180, that's a huge difference from 45, where it stands now. And why haven't they come up with one? Because they said it wasn't good. They needed to revise it. It was just whatever, Tasha Diaz, and they said, because they're going to wait for all the developments to get approved, start to go up, and then they're going to pass it. But at that point, it's not going to impact the developers that are here now. That's going to be for future developers whenever they come many, many decades later, right? Or 2 decades, whatever, right? So these guys are going to get away with it. It's going to be grandfathered, so they're good. Nick Spano did his job as their lobbyist, and he's made a lot of money. That's why he has to keep Mike Spano in office. He still has contracts, Nick Spano, to fulfill. And the only way he can do that is by having Mike Spano remain as mayor, keeping all the other individuals the head of the building department, because the developers need the building department. They got to keep their folks in the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency because the developers want tax breaks. They got to keep John Rubo chair of the real estate committee so he can continue to vote for whatever it is that they're proposing. And they got to keep Wilson Kimball, the head of the chair, the chair of the zoning board of appeals, because they have to get all these zoning laws changed, which, by the way, have gotten developers and elected officials arrested and sent to jail in the past few years. Zoning law changing scams, right? And that's exactly what happened over there on that project I just showed you, where the developer buys the property for millions and millions of dollars, even though he can't do what he wants to do because of zoning laws, and then the zoning law changes because the developer greases the elected officials. Go ahead, change it. Same with Joe Cotter. Joe Cotter bought the Leak and Watts property to put up a bunch of studios over there. That's what he's going to do, but he can't do that yet. Well, maybe he can. I think they might have recently changed the zoning laws, but they're going to be changing the zoning laws all over Ludlow Park area. He already paid $57 million, but he can't do it. But he knows that they're going to change it. It's already been worked out. And that's the corruption that exists here in the city of Yonkers. The Affordable Trust Fund from a 2013 CC agenda is supposed to be comprised, oh my goodness, of 5 members. Let me drink some water. The mayor, the deputy mayor, majority leader, minority leader, the majority and the minority leader, both of those, and the commissioner of planning and development of Yonkers. Where is the outrage of losing the 5% affordable housing? AMS also wants less parking spots, and they are displacing 13 units and 3 businesses. It stinks. Yes, the developers get what the developers want. I mean, they almost displaced a fire department, right? They had an entire fire station moved, knocked down and moved. I mean, they had the city, the mayor, the administration send the building department into a firehouse to find violations so they can justify closing it down and knocking it down because the developers, AMS specifically, wanted the land. They're doing all that development at Chicken Island. And then they thought about it. Maybe they made a mistake and they wanted the land where the new firehouse had been built. And so there was rumors that that was going to be knocked down and a new one was going to be built in the previous location. So I don't know. But the developers get what the developers want. And where is the outrage? Where's the outrage from Shanae Williams, who represents District 1? She wants to go up against Chris Johnson, right? Where's the outrage, Shanae? Or are you just happy for it because you want to live in it too, right? Keeping up with the Joneses. I see some of you folks, and I'm seeing the comments. You know, people want to live this lifestyle. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have my view, my luxury apartment. You live in a little luxury box, okay? It's nothing special. It's cheap material. You have maybe 700 square feet if you're lucky, okay? Got to wait for elevators. They're going to be breaking down. Be one elevator. And, reports are coming in that homeless individuals are sleeping in the lobbies. They took out the doorman that they promised, or the, whatever you call them. Right? So, I mean, it's nothing luxury or whatever. All right. But, people who maybe can't really get all the way luxury, it gives them this sense of feel of luxury by the waterfront and stuff like that, and that's why some individuals are pushed for. Eventually, y'all going to be the ones getting kicked out because y'all just holding it down for now, meaning you're paying rent while they get all this stuff done. And then they're going to get all the people that they really want by increasing the rent once again and pushing those individuals out and being evicted, because now they're out of their price point at that point, right? So you're just holding it down. You're keeping the seats warm, so to speak, for the people that they really want to come in. And once those movie studios are built, a lot of the people that are going to be renting there are working on these movies and these TV series and all that. They're going to be working for Lionsgate, right? So, they're going to come in there. They're going to live in these apartments. And this is why it's TOD, transit-oriented districts. They're going to come in. They're going to live temporarily, make the movie. They're going to fly back. They might have another movie shoot on location somewhere else, out of New York. So people are going to be coming in and out, right? And it's going to be mostly people in the movie studios because they're going to be studios all over Yonkers, folks. That's why they're calling us the Hollywood on the Hudson. They're going to be all over Yonkers. The Leak and Watts property. They're going to be on Warburton and Ashburton. They're going to be everywhere. And that's Joe Cotton. It's the one there by the train station in the library, right? And so those folks who have the experience, who are in the in the union, the movie production union, whatever you call that, right? Who have their vaccines, because you have to be fully vaccinated to get a job with Lionsgate, are going to be the ones having the jobs and living there, right? And most people are not, because they're going to raise the rent. Those guys make, especially, the top guys in production, make good money. The feds sometimes take years to build a case. That's why they have over 90% conviction rate. Stay tuned. It's coming. It is coming. This is what I'm trying to tell folks. Folks be like, oh, we've been hearing that for a while. I've never been, arrested or whatever, but I know just from my environment that I grew up in, I know how they work. And as John's saying, they take years to build up a case. And when you hear they're there, they might be there. They might be gathering evidence, but it takes time, right? And eventually, as years go on and people continue doing their activities, they're going to do something and they're going to trip up and it's going to be too much, right? And then they're going to come in and they're going to get you. And then they're going to take all your assets and all that. That's what they wait for sometimes. I think sometimes what they do, John, I think they want people to build up all this money and assets, and then they come in and so they could take that, right, and confiscate that, right, and then sell off the houses and whatever at auctions, take all the cash, and then do their black ops, right? That's how they fund their black operations, the government. So, yeah, and I know for a fact, I know for a fact that they're definitely, really looking to get something, and they're going to hit the small people. They're going to hit the Tasha Diaz's. Okay, they're going to hit the John Rubos, and FYI, FBI, hit John Rubo up. He's going to pee in his pants, and he's going to tell you everything. If I were you, FBI, I would have my eye on A Perfect Solution, John Rubo, Inc., LLC. What is that about, FBI? Can you guys tell me? All right, and I appreciate you guys following the page. That's right, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, recently followed my Instagram page. So now I can tag them. I couldn't tag them before, but now I saw that. Oh, they follow me. Oh, right. But they're watching. They actually asked for the Facebook page. So, and these folks are going to go down. The little people, the little folks in the building department, that were doing these building department scans, right? In the clerk's office, where, you're taking these deceased people's properties and scamming their, next of kins out of hundreds of thousands of dollars by, selling them cheap and all that, scamming them. You guys are going to go down. They're going to want you because they want the people that are going to be scared and nail, and then they're going to tell them. They're going to tell them the big people. That's why they keep Zahi so close, right? They don't really like to go outside of Zahi, but Zahi's been in jail once. They got him once. They got him twice, actually. 3 times. They say 3 strikes, you're out, right? So, they're coming. They're definitely coming, folks. It's just too much. That's the number. Hit me up. It's just too much. It's just too much. I don't know if you guys heard about this. The deputy, Mount Vernon police commissioner's son, 14-year-old, was murdered, killed by a rival gang member. I guess he was involved in gangs. Kids got to stay out that gang, please. Anything else here? No, I don't know. I think that's it, folks. Again, my condolences to the family of CJ. That guy deserves to, really be in jail for a long time, man. He's a city employee, so this is what they do to city employees. No, not all, but some. They look out for them, This guy hit a 16-year-old boy knowingly and then took off, tried to cover it up by trying to fix up and paint the bumper, and then went to work. And then they arrested him at City Hall, I hear. Imagine that. They're going to arrest this guy at City Hall, right? And who was helping him? Because he's connected to individuals, I hear, within the department and, possibly City Hall. Giving this guy, let him off easy, man. That's not okay. That's drunk driving, folks. I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to say too much. I don't know if I should put the guy in blast. What do you think, guys? I see this man coming out of a bar on Lockwood, all right, in a burgundy pickup truck, visibly, well, he was coming out the bar first. He was visibly drunk, stumbling, like trying to hold on to the wall, nearest wall. And I'm looking at him, like, look at that dude, he's hammered. He gets into a burgundy pickup truck, and it took a while for him to go. And so I'm kind of watching him, and then he took off. So I kind of went to follow him because I wasn't close enough to get the plate. And I don't know, he went somewhere and I lost the guy. You know, I think he might have saw me there, like watching him. But, you know, and the only reason why I'm even involved, like, because, you know, God forbid, that could, you know, somebody's family could be on the road. You know, like, that's the worst, that some idiot wants to get drunk and drive and kill a family, right? And I think of my family, God forbid, and everybody else's family, God forbid. So just to that man, to the dude, I don't know if you may be watching Base Politics, excuse me, or you hear about Basement, whatever. Anybody know about that bar over there? Dude, don't do that again, man. You was super drunk. Like, he could not even walk. And he got in that burgundy pickup truck. I got the video of you. I do. Got the video. So just saying, that's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. And they let people get away with it, like Akeem Jamal. They let people get away. And then even the guy that killed the police officer. Why have they kept, what's going on with that? Why have they kept that quiet? No updates, no nothing. Hey, Yonkers Tribune. Hey, Yonkers Voice. Hey, you know, Yonkers Newswire. You guys love talking about me, but I didn't kill a cop, right? I'm not a 16-year-old unlicensed driver who killed a cop because my irresponsible adult family members who are, you know, connected because they contribute to the administration and got a school over on Walnut, allowed me to drive. I'm just saying. And that school, please, man, you guys don't own the freaking road up there, man. You guys got to do better with the traffic and letting people out. Blocking people, and they don't even care. They don't even care. Like, they own that street. It's a frustrating time. You know, when I'm cut through there and like miss like 3 lights before you can actually go through. But that's what's going on. FYI, YPD, because I know they reached out to me because they know Freddy has information sometimes. And so, yo, I'm always willing to help. I'm on your side, guys. You know what I mean? Just can I get a badge? Can I get a badge? You know what I mean? Yeah, your gun? I'll take it. But yeah, just FYI, you know, that's what I'm hearing. They're connected to the school there on Yonkers Avenue, Walnut. You guys do the investigation from there. There are a lot of questions with CJ's case. The DA has said many times that they know he was in touch with former police officer. Dolan knew he was a person of interest. Why isn't the former police officer being held accountable and the person that gave Dolan insider information being held accountable? Man, Dolan's father and uncle were both former police officers. How did Dolan hide in plain sight? It was sad. It was said he was blackout drunk. Yet he was at work a few hours later. We need justice for CJ. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to get justice for CJ. And this justice for CJ also sends a message to, you know, the administration, essentially, right? That you no longer will we, the people, allow for people who are connected, people who are part of the friends and family network, those individuals, you know, that are not really qualified for the positions that they have, but they still have them. You know, they didn't pass the supervisor test, yet they have supervisor titles and get supervisor pay. That we're not going to tolerate these individuals doing whatever the hell they want because they think that they got it like that, right? And they get away with whatever. We're not going to allow them to get away anymore. We're going to continue to put them on blast. We're going to name you guys. We're going to put you out there because it's not okay. Look at that boy. Look at CJ. Look at that boy, folks. Okay, I want you to look at him. 16 years old. He was killed by a man who was driving drunk. He was leaving bars on McLean, I believe, that are, very well known, that have, insiders going there that are owned by people connected to insiders, so they're protected. Unlike that other bar, like Duos, right? When they had the shooting at Duos, they all jumped on it. The mayor, John Rubo, jumped on it. But it wasn't the owner's fault. He can't control who goes there, right? But you still jumped on him and you had to shut down. So why haven't you have these bars that have been consistent problems on McLean shut down? The individual that was driving drunk, a city employee, was going from one dart game tournament to another, something like that. Why haven't they mentioned the bar that they came from? Some people speculate it was Rory Dolan's. I'm not sure. That's what people have speculated. Or was it the Saints and Scholars or whatever it's called? Connected to Rubo, to Liam, the Inspector General, and they get away with it. They constantly have individuals leaving there driving drunk, getting into accidents, or having fights that put officers in danger, like that female officer, the sergeant, who had to show up to two drunk individuals beating on another individual. And then she got reprimanded because she didn't step in between these three big, giant gorilla knuckleheads who were drunk and didn't care that the police were there. But yet they don't say anything about the establishments. Why? But they shut down duos. Is it because John Rubo wants duo? Will his friend Henry D. John Balaj, who is the guy selling it for whoever owns it, gonna give it to John Rubo for a good price so he can open up another establishment there? You see how they do it? They got them shut down because they wanted that place. Because if it was about the safety of the people and the people, people here in Yonkers, they would have shut down a lot of bars on McLean. But those ain't owned by Hispanics. And they don't want those bars. Or maybe they do, but that's their boys, so they're not going to get them shut down. That's how it is. So justice for CJ means justice for everyone who has been wronged here in the city of Yonkers, who has not received their justice. This should have never happened. But because they've allowed these individuals to get away with these things for so long, they thought they were invincible. Imagine had they nipped it in the bud from get-go. Had they nipped it in the bud when Akeem Jamal crashed driving the wrong way down Central Avenue after leaving an event with the mayor himself, drunk out of his mind, and Nick Spano, drunk out of their mind, with an individual that is known for possessing cocaine because he was arrested with 100 grams, and this guy crashes, injuring another individual, and nothing happens, but he gets a promotion, and his entire family is hired by the city. His father's over there at the IT department for the city, and that kind of concerns me, and I would be concerned if I were you folks too. We won't have compromised individuals having access to the computer networks and systems of the city of Yonkers. All employees who work there, and you're connected to that system through an email of some sort, I would be concerned. I would be concerned. My sources tell me that the unlicensed 16-year-old will not be charged. Case closed. Wow. How much did they pay for that? It's not fair to CJ. It's not fair to Detective Sergeant Frank Galdino. It's not fair. I saw his family members cleaning up the memorial there on the bridge on the overpass on Tuckahoe Road the other day. And I guess the city was so nice enough to lend an officer to be there with the wife, possibly. It was a female. And he blocked that lane. And I'm not saying anything negative about the officer. He was, doing, respectful thing. And I think that's great. But they deserve more than that. And that comes from the administration. What about the PBA? Or the CLSA? So he's a sergeant. Right? They're not stepping up and saying, hey, someone's got to be held responsible. The man's dead. His son will never see him again. Did you see his son's face as he walked out of the church on Charnard Place? With all those fake people there attending the funeral, yet they're not stepping up and assuring that his dad and he and his mom get justice? How dare you folks stand there? If I were you, If I were the elected officials, damn right we'd be getting some justice for Detective Sergeant Galdino and his family. Damn right. And for the entire YPD. So we let it be known that none of our officers are going to get killed on the job, and we're not going to do anything about it, because the individual who did it contributes to my campaign, helps me stay in power. That's not okay. And everyone in the YPD should be pissed off at the administration for doing that. They don't care about you. They use you. They want your endorsement so that other people who don't know any better can say, oh, the YPD endorsed them. They must be the right candidate. No, not at all. Not at all. As Anthony DiMaggio will tell you, they just work it out with the ranking officers, the high-ranking officers, or work it out with the politicians and get the endorsements. And you can see a lot of the officers standing there with their faces like, I want to stand next to this guy. I want to be here. You can see the DPW guys who were at City Hall. They didn't want to be there, especially the guys who have been working for years. They didn't need a job. I'm already on the job. But the tough guys, the real ones that were gun-ho, were all the new guys, seasonal guys looking to get a permanent gig. And that's what they do here in the city of Yonkers. They don't care about CJ. They don't care about Detective Frank Galdino, Detective Sergeant, and his family. And that's the truth, because if they did, we would see justice served. That's for fact. Why is no one asking why the mayor had his bodyguard with him while he was out drinking? Akeem drove home alone, but the mayor had his bodyguard driver take him home. Taxpayers should not have to pay to protect the mayor while he is out socially drinking. Absolutely. And, they say that the mayor has a detail, not so much for protection, but so he can have a designated driver. The mayor has, quite, the appetite for alcohol, it seems. And I've seen it, and he seems very tired. It seems like the alcohol has gotten to him. But, I think, and I'm mentioning that very recently, he's tried to, be more healthy. He put out a video of him in the gym after I spoke about it. But it's not going to fool us, folks. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't care. His brother Nick needs him there, and a lot of family members need him there to remain in their jobs. And I'm going to be showing that soon. A lot of the Spano family members, even those that don't have the Spano last name, who work for the city, and how much money of taxpayer money this family's bringing home. And yeah, I understand. Hey, the family's big. You know what? They apply for the job and they get the job. No, that's not true. Family is big, but they don't apply like everybody else and go through the proper channels. No, they cut the line every time. Even if they're not qualified, even if they have a history that, presents a liability ultimately for the city of Yonkers. Like one Spano family member who was being put on the police department, but the guy just was a criminal and had been abusing drugs, but they still were trying to get him onto the police department, even allowing him to be licensed gun carrier, although he's had a criminal past. But ultimately, they fought that didn't work out, so they sent him over to the fire department, where he joined the academy in 2021. And because of that, some individuals didn't get called to the academy. People who were supposed to be called now got taken out the line of the call list because his nephew or something like that of the mayor couldn't get into the academy at the police department, so they brought him over to the fire department. So you got to step aside. I'm sorry. You're not going to get the job, even though you're more qualified, even though you deserve it, even though you should be the one getting it. But you're not a Spano. You're not a Juris. You're not a Sage, right? You don't get any special treatment at all. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for watching tonight. Guys, I want to encourage the phone calls. I want you guys to call in. I want the city, residents to call in. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. I want you to be vocal about it. We have to be vocal. We have to come out and speak. So please, I want to encourage you to call and just you leave a message. It could be anonymous. You can say, I don't like this or I like that or what's going on with this. Call the number. Or if you want to just give me information, you just don't want to, me to play the message or whatever, you just want to give me information, you can call 914-228-28. I forgot what it is. 914-228-2894. That's the number that you will be able to reach me at. Okay, if you want to reach me and actually reach me, that's the number you should call. No other number. Don't call no other number. Call that number right there. See that? 914-228-2894. And you don't have to give your name, be anonymous, obviously, if you don't want to, that's cool with me. But I want people to call. I want to hear voices, But if you just want to call and you don't care about giving your name and you just, hey, yo, listen, this is wrong, call up. Let's chat. Let's talk. I want to get that going. So, yeah. That's gold, Freddy. Don't hold your breath waiting for Mike Hanley to step to a podium on Sergeant Goldino's behalf. The CLSA exists on paper and nowhere else. $77 per paycheck per member. Half into Nick Spano's pocket and half into the register down as Zupa to pay for the pizzas and Bud Light served at the monthly meetings, which ultimately still go back into the Spano pocket, quite possibly. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, unfortunately, I'm not a Spano, just a Hispano. I'm a Hispano too. I'm going to leave that out. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez. That's really quick about the detail. Yeah, I mean, being on the mayor's detail is very lucrative. One of the former mayor's driver in the last 5 years, he was working, made over $1.3 million just driving the mayor around for 5 years. $1.3 million. And his brother was allowed to get jobs with DPW, even though he was fired for committing an armed robbery. But they rehired him. So what? That's the Friends and Family Network here in the city. I'm Freddy Vazquez. And no, it's not funny. I'm up out here. Have a beautiful day, night. But if you have anything, please email me, politicwithfred@gmail.com. Politicwithfred@gmail.com, or give me a call at 914-228-2894. Let's start getting phone calls in. I want to start doing phone calls, folks. Come on. Let's step up to the plate. Don't be scared. When you hit back, you see how quickly they back off. We've been hitting back. They've been backing off, and we're going to continue to hit. More is coming. More is on the way. More is on the way. I promise you that. I promise you that. There's some crazy stuff that's happening. A lot of information is going to come out. That's it. People don't want it no more. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. You're watching. So-and-so. Field Supervisor, Special Agent so-and-so. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, where corruption... No, I said that backwards. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, where truth lives and corruption dies. You like that tagline? Where truth lives and corruption dies. Like I told you folks from day one, especially those who hate me, I am not going to cross the line with me, and I'm here for good. And I'm coming even harder. And this is just the beginning. I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. I love you folks. I'm fighting for the people. I hope you know that. I'm fighting for the people. Please, to the dude that followed me, right? It's really scary. Maybe I need to hire security. So really quick, I don't know what dude's problem was. The other day, I'm coming out of the store. I pull out. You pull out, and I'm already pretty much all the way out. And the dude starts pulling out of his spot, almost hits me, so I honk. And he doesn't keep stopping, so I quickly kind of move. And then the way the parking lot is, I go off the curb where it doesn't flatten down, and then I turn right, and then he gets right behind me, right? So now he's kind of close. I'm like, now I make a right, he makes a right. And he's tailgating me. I make another, he makes another right, tailgating me on my end. I'm like, what's up with this dude? And he's got tinted windows, right? Something like that. So I pull over. I said, let me just pull over and see what he does. He drives past me, then he stops. So I said, let me get out and go into one of these, buildings here, right? and see what he does. So I get out. I wait in the car for a second, and then he was waiting there, and I say he because I found out I was a guy, right? So I'm like, right. So I go into the building, then I look through the glass, and I see him back up, and he's now next to my car. He's looking at my car and stuff. So then I come back out, and I'm like, can I help you with something? You all right? You need something? And then he just starts driving off, and I'm like, you all right? And I'm like, all right. So I start to walk away, but then he stops. So then I stop, and then I kind of go. I'm like, can I help you? Do you need something? Do you what's going on? You all right? And then he rolls the window all the way down. He goes, oh, well, why are you following my car? I said, dude, I don't know, but it seems like you've been following me since I left the store there, right? You've been tailgating me, and now you're acting suspicious by my car. I live here. I said, okay, so you're gonna park or leave? Why you? Oh, I'll do it when I'm ready. Well, what time? I said, okay, dude. I said, all right, but do you need anything? Because you're kind of making funny moves around my car and all that stuff. You good? Because I don't know this guy at all from Hollywood. Oh yeah, no, I don't follow my car. I'm like, all right, dude, just go home, whatever. So I don't want to leave because I don't know if he's gonna follow me, right, to where I was going. I didn't want him to know where I was gonna be at. So I go back into the building that I went in, and I just kind of wait. And then he comes back again, right? And then he's just like standing there. So I come back out. I'm like, dude, are you all right? You good? And he comes out of his car, and he starts saying to me, oh, well, you think because you do politics and stuff, or you're in politics or something like that, you're somebody. You're that's what he says to me. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, so I guess you know who I am. I guess you know about Basement. I said, you have an issue with me for some reason? I don't know. This guy's like in his pajamas, right? In the morning, he's in his pajamas, right? And he's coming out of his car, and he's all like upset. I don't know why. What? He was tailgating me. So I don't know, what the issue is, right? I'm here for the people. Like, I'm here for you, dude. You in the pajamas, I'm here for you because you're not the developers. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for you. You're not the elected officials. I don't know what your beef was. You obviously know who I was, right? Because he says, you're into politics. You ain't nobody. Okay, I guess that's fine. But what is your issue, right? And then he gets in his car and then he leaves, right? So it's kind of scary, that people know me and I don't know them, and then that, I could say something on a podcast that somebody may not like. I mean, it's one thing I talk about someone that I know that, I'm saying, but when I say something and I don't know that it offends somebody, maybe, I don't know, right? That's kind of scary because you don't know that. You don't know who they are. And then, you get a guy like that. He says, obviously you knew it was. You're in politics, right? So, dude, I don't know what your issue is, folks, but don't do that no more to me. Because now once now I'm a little bit on a heightened alert a little bit with that. So, just don't do that to me no more because I might snap, crackle, and pop your ass. Just kidding. I'm not going to be violent. That was a joke. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese. Check it out. Kind of our new thing on the weekend. Not every weekend, but it's right there. It's convenient. And you're able to buy a card and do it for like 30 minutes, right? It's not just like, so it's cool. So you say, I want to be here 30 minutes. You can buy 30 minutes. Actually, I think I get like 40 minutes for you get like 30 minutes for $26. It's not bad at all. And the pizza's not bad, actually. The stuffed crust, it's not bad. Check it out. Check it out. I had this negative thing about Chuck E. Cheese, but I kind of changed my mind. But if you want, go early if you want to avoid crowds, because it gets pretty popping at night. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Let's get it popping.
Freddy. Fatality.
In another one, Mr. Rumo lied to me. And I don't vote for the person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Benefit him. Because he doesn't cover. He only talks trash. Benefit him. Because he doesn't cover. He only talks trash. We are the real McCoy. We are the original.
I know you have a lot of women. I know you have a lot of women.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy.
But I am the bad guy.
I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. And I was also told that you favor some over others. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy.
But I am the bad guy. Not long ago, he admitted himself. Oh no.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No!